Bit of prose for you tonight, and it's called The Reluctant Muse, and it's about, as the title suggests, a person, a woman in this case, who is a reluctant muse, and you'll get the gist when I read it. Bloody Leonard Cohen, he's always round here, getting under me feet, looking at me with those moon eyes, jotting things down in that book of his, muttering away to himself, gazing into the middle distance like he's going to get his inspiration from the ball beans growing in the garden, smoking those funny smelling French fags. He's writing them mucky poems again about sex and shagging and naked women. Dirty bastard. Poets should be writing about flowers and daffodils and lambs frolicking in a field, not people having noughties in some hotel in Chelsea. Disgusting, I call it. I blame it on the free love generation in the 60s. Too much sex, drugs and rock and roll, in my opinion. I told him, I know you're on that Hydra Island in the 60s with that woman Marion. You've been corrupted by free love, Sunbeam. He said to me once, I was baking a banana cake, just putting it in the oven. He said he thought I'd got come to bed eyes. I ask you, what's that about, dirty bugger? Always trying to get me into bed he was. He told me once I was his special muse. I got quite stroppy with him. Said he shouldn't call me a silly moo. Thinking about it afterwards, I think I had misheard him. He told me years ago he'd written a poem about a woman he'd met called Susan, or someone I think her name was. He says she was his muse then. I said, I know, they don't grow on trees, do they? Very witty, I thought, but he didn't laugh or anything. Anyway, he read me the poem in the kitchen one afternoon when we was having a fag and a cuppa after I mopped the kitchen floor. I said to him then and then, what's all this bollocks about? You've been on the wacky backy again, haven't you? Jesus was a sailor. She was a lady of the harbour, children in the morning, leaning out for love. All they need is a good slap round the ear. I said to him, you need to get out more, into the real world, get yourself a proper job. Then, ignoring what I just said, he reads me a song he'd written called Dance Me to the End of Love, I think it was. Bloody long song. About 6 minutes, I nearly fell asleep. Anyway, he gets to the end of the song, looks at me, and I felt I'd got to put him right. I said to him, if it's about the end of love, why are they bloody well dancing together? Surely they should be packing their bags. Couldn't answer that one. Far too practical for him. I said, someone needs to tell you, Sunbeam, the poetry stuff is not going to give you a living. Who's going to buy it? Only other people like you and people on the wacky backy and students with more money than sense. Look, Leonard, they're advertising for people to do night shifts at the Foundry in Alfreton. It's good money and you can write your poems and songs in the tea break. How about it? He just looked at me in disgust and said very slowly, that offends my creative dignity and artistic integrity. Laughed one of his Canadian laughs, gives me one of his knowing winks, and went off to the pub just before my Albert came home from the factory. Bloody Leonard Cohen.